Jack Miller stood at the center of the great round chamber. 17 different alien species watched him from their curved desks. The air felt heavy with tension. Jack had practiced his speech many times, but his mouth still felt dry. This would be the most important speech of his life. The chamber of the Galactic Council was built to impress. Tall columns of shining metal reached up to a dome that showed the stars outside. The light from 3 nearby suns came through special windows, making patterns on the polished floor. Jack thought it was all meant to make speakers feel small. Today, it would not work on him. Esteemed members of the council, Jack began, his voice strong and clear. For 40 years, humans have sat among you. For 40 years, we have followed your rules, shared our ideas, and worked toward what we thought was a common future. The aliens watched him with their many different eyes. Some had 4 eyes, some had 1 large eye, and some had eyes that looked like pools of liquid. The Zeth ambassador, Corax, blinked his 6 eyes slowly, his gray skin wrinkling with displeasure. Jack knew Corax never liked humans. In those 40 years, Jack continued, "How many human suggestions has this council accepted? I can count them on one hand. How many times have human warnings been ignored until disaster struck? Too many to count." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Dorsian representative, with his long neck and small head, leaned forward to whisper something to his aide. The Lumari delegate, Thelia, whose skin glowed with a soft blue light, watched Jack with what seemed like sadness in her large eyes. 6 months ago, humans warned about the failing shields on the Proxima mining colony. You ignored us. 2,000 workers died when those shields failed. Jack's voice grew harder. 3 years ago, we offered our medical research to help with the Vargas plague. You refused. Millions died on 4 worlds before you finally accepted our help. The council chair, a tall Meribian with flowing robes, raised his hand. Ambassador Miller, we understand your frustration, but this council operates on consensus. Humanity is still new. Jack interrupted. 40 years is not new. In that time, we've mastered your technologies, learned your languages, and respected your customs. Yet you still treat us like children. You limit what technology we can access. You restrict where we can travel. You ignore our voices in matters that affect all species. The chamber grew very quiet. Even the usual hum of the air filters seemed to pause. 3 days ago, Earth received your denial of our request to establish colonies in the Ta-CD system. A system with no claims, no intelligent life, and no strategic value to any council race. Your reason? Humans are not ready for expansion beyond their current boundaries. Jack took a small device from his pocket and placed it on the speaker's stand. It projected a large document into the air. The Earth seal was visible at the top. I hold here the formal notice of humanity's withdrawal from the Galactic Council, effective immediately. The chamber erupted in noise. The Zeth delegation rose to their feet, mandibles clicking in anger. The Dorsians huddled together, faces showing shock. The Lumari representatives simply closed her eyes, as if in pain. The council chair banged his ceremonial staff on the floor, calling for order. Ambassador Miller, this is unprecedented. No species has ever withdrawn from the council. The consequences, Jack said firmly, will be yours to bear. Humanity will no longer be bound by council restrictions. We will develop our own path forward. He looked around the chamber one last time, meeting the alien gazes. You had 40 years to treat us as equals. 40 years to listen. 40 years to build true partnership. That time is gone now. It is too late to mend what has been broken. Jack stepped away from the speaker's stand. The formal withdrawal notice still hung in the air behind him, its official seals and signatures glowing. Goodbye. He walked out of the council chamber, the doors closing behind him with a final, heavy sound. The news of humanity's withdrawal spread across the galaxy faster than light. On Earth, Susan Hart watched the recording of Jack's speech for the 3rd time. Her office at Space Force headquarters overlooked the green fields of what was once called Colorado. The mountains in the distance were covered with snow even in summer now, thanks to the climate engineering projects. "You sure know how to make an exit, Jack," she said to herself. She turned as her door slid open. Jack looked tired but smiled when he saw Susan. They had been friends since school, before either of them knew they would lead humanity's military and diplomatic efforts. "The council has called an emergency session," Jack said, dropping into a chair. 3 hours after I left, they were already fighting among themselves. Susan handed him a cup of coffee. "Our monitors show increased ship activity near all major council worlds. They're scrambling." "And our preparations?" Jack asked. "On schedule. The lunar bases are at full alert. Colony ships are ready. The asteroid belt factories have stepped up production." Susan touched a panel on her desk, bringing up a holographic display of the solar system. Red dots showed Earth's defenses. There were more than most council members knew about. "The Dorsians are sending Ambassador Krull to Earth," Jack said. "They want to negotiate." Susan laughed. "Now they want to talk. After ignoring us for decades." Jack looked out the window. "They're scared, Susan. They never thought we'd actually leave. The Dorsians need our agricultural techniques. Their worlds are facing food shortages. And the Zeth. Threatening military action, as expected. But the Lumeri have publicly supported our decision. That's created a split in the council." A young officer entered with a datapad. "General Hart, we've detected unusual movement from the Zeth fleet. They've repositioned ships near the Ta City jump point." Susan took the pad. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Keep monitoring." After the officer left, Susan turned to Jack. "Remember 3 years ago, when we proposed the new jump point safety protocols after that passenger ship explosion?" Jack nodded. "The council said our science was flawed, that humans didn't understand jump point physics well enough. 2 months later, the Dorsian science vessel was destroyed at the exact jump point we warned about." Susan's voice was bitter. 300 scientists lost." "I remember," Jack said quietly. "That was when I started keeping a list of every time they ignored us, every disaster that followed." Susan walked to a secure cabinet and pressed her hand against it. It opened to reveal a bottle and 2 glasses. "My father's whiskey. Been saving it for a special occasion." She poured 2 small glasses and handed one to Jack. "To independence," she said. They drank, and Susan continued. "The council doesn't know about our hidden colonies, does it?" "No. As far as they know, humans only live in the Sol system and the 3 official colony worlds." Jack smiled. "They have no idea about the settlements beyond the Perseus Arm." Susan's communication panel chimed. She touched it, and a hologram of a woman appeared. "General, Ambassador Krull's ship has entered orbit. He's requesting immediate landing clearance." "Granted, but full security protocols," Susan ordered. "And notify Dr. Wright. I want him at the meeting." After the call ended, Jack raised an eyebrow. "Alan Wright, you're showing our cards early." "Not all of them. But I want Krull to see enough to take back a message." Susan's eyes were hard. "The council needs to understand this isn't a negotiation. It's a divorce." Jack stood and straightened his jacket. "I should get to the landing pad. Wouldn't want to keep the ambassador waiting." "Just remember," Susan said as he reached the door, "the countdown has started. Whatever happens in that meeting, in 3 days we activate everything." Jack nodded. 3 days. The council has had 40 years to listen to humanity. Now they have 3 days to accept that we're leaving. Outside, the sky was clear blue. Few people knew how close Earth was to either freedom or war. Jack hoped it would be the former, but he and Susan had prepared for the latter. Either way, humanity's future would no longer be decided by alien voices. Dr. Alan Wright liked the silence of his laboratory. It was built deep inside Olympus Mons on Mars, far from prying eyes. Here, surrounded by his team of 50 scientists, He had broken every rule the Galactic Council had set for humanity. "Is it ready?" he asked, looking at the small device on the table. His assistant, Kate, nodded. "Final tests completed an hour ago. It works perfectly." Alan picked up the device. It fit in his palm, a simple silver cube with no visible buttons or screens. This tiny thing had taken 15 years to develop. 15 years of secret work, hidden from the Council's inspection teams. "Our friends from the stars never wanted us to have this," Alan said quietly. "They were right to be afraid." The door slid open, and Susan Hart entered with Ambassador Krell of the Dorjans. The ambassador was tall and thin, with a long neck and small head. His skin was pale green, and his three-fingered hands were always moving, a Dorjan sign of nervousness. "Dr. Wright," Susan said, "Ambassador Krell wishes to see what humanity has been developing. The Council is concerned about our independence." Alan smiled. "Of course, General. I'd be happy to give a small demonstration." Krell's large eyes blinked slowly. "The Council has always shared technology fairly, Dr. Wright. We are concerned that humans may have violated technology-sharing treaties." "Shared fairly?" Alan laughed. "Is that why the Council denied us access to advanced ship drives? Why medical technology was kept from us? Why we were told certain physics principles were too advanced for human minds?" Krell's skin darkened, a sign of embarrassment among Dorjans. "Those were protective measures for a young species." Alan placed the small cube on a testing platform. "Ambassador, what do you know about energy shields?" "Council shields can stop most weapons and radiation. They are based on the unified field theory developed by the Zeth 2,000 years ago." Krell spoke as if reciting from a textbook. "And humans were told that theory could not be improved upon," Alan said. He pressed a button on his wrist device. The cube hummed softly and projected a bubble of faintly blue energy around the testing platform. "A standard shield," Krell said, unimpressed. "All Council ships have them." Alan nodded to Kate, who activated a larger control panel. A powerful laser fired at the shield. The beam struck the blue bubble and simply vanished. There was no flare, no energy discharge, just nothing. Krell stepped back in shock. "Impossible. The energy must go somewhere." "It does," Alan said calmly. "Our shield doesn't reflect or absorb energy. It redirects it through a dimensional fold." He gestured to a small display showing energy readings. "The laser energy is now powering the shield itself. The more you attack it, the stronger it becomes." Krell's hands moved faster now. This is beyond Council technology." "How did you?" "We looked where we were told not to look," Susan said. "Humans are curious by nature, Ambassador." Alan turned off the shield. "This is just one of our developments. We have new ship drives that don't use jump points, medical technology that can regrow limbs, communication systems that can't be monitored." Krell seemed to shrink before their eyes. "The Council must know of this." "They will," Susan said, "but not as a threat. As a reminder that humanity should have been treated as equals, not children." Kate brought a data pad to Alan. He read it quickly and looked up at Susan. "The Zeth have sent spy drones into the asteroid belt. They're looking for our shipyards." "Did they find anything?" Susan asked. Alan smiled. "Only what we wanted them to find. The old facilities, not the new ones." Krell looked from one human to another, finally understanding how deeply the Council had underestimated humanity. "It is too late," he whispered. "Too late to mend what we broke." "Yes," Alan agreed. "Now go back to the Council, Ambassador. Tell them what you've seen. And tell them this is just the beginning of what humanity can do on its own." Commander Lisa Reeves floated in zero gravity, watching Earth's blue sphere through the viewport of Defense Station Alpha. The station orbited quietly, one of 12 that formed Earth's outer defense ring. Most alien visitors saw only 3 stations. The other 9 remained hidden, cloaked by technology the Council thought humans didn't possess. "Commander, sensors are picking up unusual readings," said Officer Paul Davis at the monitoring station. Lisa pushed herself across the command center. "Show me." The screen displayed 5 small objects approaching Earth from different directions. They moved too fast for normal ships, but too slow for missiles. "Zeth probes," Lisa said, recognizing the pattern. "They're testing our defenses." "Should we shoot them down?" Paul asked. Lisa thought for a moment. "No, let them come closer. I want to see what they're looking for." Her communication panel beeped. "Reeves here. Commander, this is General Hart. The council meeting just ended. The Zeth have officially demanded we return to council oversight or face protective quarantine. They're moving ships into position. We've spotted their probes," Lisa replied. 5 of them approaching now. "Let them see our official defenses," Susan ordered. "Nothing more. Jack is heading to Nexus Station for one last meeting with friendly council members. We need to buy him time." Lisa ended the call and turned to her team. "Power up the main shield grid, just the standard one, not our new shields. Let these probes see what the Zeth expect to see." Around Earth, the 3 visible defense stations activated their shields. The blue glow was visible even from the planet's surface, a deliberate show of force. The probes changed course, spreading out to scan the shield grid. "They're looking for weak points," Paul noted. Lisa nodded. "And they won't find any. Not in our old shields, and certainly not in our new ones." Suddenly, one of the probes fired a small burst of energy at the shield. "They're testing our response time," Lisa said calmly. "Target that probe with standard lasers. Fire a warning shot." A beam of light shot from the station, deliberately missing the probe by a small distance. The probe immediately changed course, heading away from Earth. "The others are retreating too," Paul reported. "They got what they came for," Lisa said. "They know our official defense capabilities now." On her private screen, Lisa watched the real-time update from the solar system's edge. Hundreds of human ships were gathering there, hidden from council sensors. Ships built in secret over decades. Some were small and fast. Others were huge carriers that could transport thousands of people. All were equipped with technology that the council had never seen. Lisa's deputy commander, Carl Jung, joined her at the viewport. The Dorjan ambassador's ship just left orbit, heading back to council space at full speed. "Did he look scared?" Lisa asked with a small smile. "Very. Something he saw on Mars seems to have changed his mind about humans." Lisa's screen flashed with a new alert. "The Zeth have moved 20 warships near Jupiter. They're establishing position." Carl frowned. "That's a blockade formation." "Yes, they're going to try to cut us off from our outer colonies." Lisa touched her communication panel. "General Hart, the Zeth are moving into blockade positions near Jupiter. Request permission to deploy the Jupiter Defense Fleet." Susan's voice came back immediately. "Permission granted. Show them just the ships they know about. Keep our special units hidden for now." Lisa turned to her team. "This is it, people. The Zeth have made the first move." The command center buzzed with activity as orders were relayed to the small fleet stationed near Jupiter's moons. These were older ships, built with council-approved technology. They would face the Zeth blockade while Earth's real forces remained hidden. "Do you think there will be actual fighting?" Carl asked quietly. Lisa looked at the tactical display, watching as the human ships moved to intercept the Zeth blockade. "I hope not," she said. "But if they fire first, they'll learn that humans are not the simple, obedient species they thought we were." Earth's first line of defense ships accelerated toward Jupiter, their engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. Ben Collins had always been good at making friends. As Earth's chief intelligence officer, this skill had helped him build a network of alien contacts across the galaxy. Now, as he sat in a dim corner of the Star Whisper, a bar on Nexus Station, that network was proving its worth. "The Zeth fleet has more ships than they're showing," whispered Mira, a small Lumari female whose blue skin glowed faintly in the dark bar. At least 30 more warships are hiding behind Taurus Station. Ben sipped his drink slowly. And the Dorjans. Officially neutral, but they're preparing refugee centers. They expect fighting. Mira's large eyes darted around nervously. The Council is fracturing, Ben. 7 species have secretly contacted Earth about possible alliances. Which ones? The Lumari, of course. The Vex, the Narabi, the Trill. Even the Jaxar, who rarely take sides. Mira leaned closer, and we found something else. Ancient records in the Lumari archives mention humans, from long before your official first contact. Ben raised an eyebrow. How is that possible? We don't know, but the records suggest humans have unusual adaptability, that you evolve faster than other species. Mira touched Ben's hand. Some council members have feared this for decades. It's why they limited your technology. On the other side of the bar, 2 Zeph officers entered. Ben casually shifted to block their view of Mira. You should go, he said quietly. It's not safe for you to be seen with me. Mira nodded. One more thing. The Zeth ambassador met with assassins 3 days ago. They're targeting your diplomat, Jack Miller. Ben's face remained calm, but his hand tightened around his glass. Thank you, Mira. Your people will always have a friend in humanity. After Mira left, Ben activated his secure communicator, disguised as a simple wristband. Collins to Earth. I need to speak to Susan Hart immediately. While he waited for the connection, Ben watched the Zeph officers. They were talking loudly about the human problem and how it would soon be resolved. Several other aliens in the bar moved away from them, showing their disapproval. This is Hart, came Susan's voice from his wristband. We have 7 potential allies, Ben reported in code, and Jack is in danger. The Zeth have hired assassins. There was a pause. Jack is already on his way to meet with the Lumari ambassador. I'll warn him. What about the Zeth fleet? Bigger than we thought. 30 more ships hiding at Taurus. Ben kept his voice low. And Susan, the Lumari found old records. They suggest we've been to this part of space before, long ago. The Council species have been afraid of our adaptability for years. That explains a lot. Susan's voice was thoughtful. Can you get back to Earth? Ben glanced at the Zeph officers, who were now looking in his direction. It might be difficult. The Zeth are watching all human movements. We'll send a ship for you. The Lumari ambassador has offered their diplomatic vessel to bring Jack home. I'll make sure they pick you up too. As Ben ended the call, he saw one of the Zeph officers pointing at him and speaking into a communicator. Time to move. He left payment on the table and walked casually toward the back exit. Outside, the vast structure of Nexus Station stretched in all directions, a massive city in space. Ben merged into the crowd of diverse aliens, changing his walk slightly to be less recognizably human. His emergency communicator vibrated against his wrist. Jack's message was brief. Meet at Lumari docking bay in 1 hour. Come armed. So it had come to this. After 40 years of peaceful, if unequal, relations with the Council, humans might have to fight their way home. As Ben made his way through the station's winding corridors, he noticed more and more aliens watching him, some with hostility, others with curiosity, and a surprising number with what looked like respect. Word was spreading across the galaxy. Humans were standing up to the Council, and many species were quietly cheering them on. The Galactic Council chamber was only half full. Many representatives had already left, returning to their home worlds to prepare for whatever came next. Those who remained watched the large screen where the Council chair was reading the official ultimatum to humanity. Jack Miller stood alone in Earth's communication center, listening to the message. The room was silent except for the alien voice. The Galactic Council hereby demands that Earth return to full Council oversight within 24 hours. All human technology development must be placed under Council supervision. Human ships must submit to inspection. Human colonies must accept Council governors. Failure to comply will result in Earth's complete isolation from all galactic resources and trade. The message ended, and the screen went dark. Around Jack, the communication team waited for his response. "Send our prepared answer," Jack said quietly. On Earth's largest moon base, Maria Diaz sat in the captain's chair of the warship Independence. It was the newest and most powerful vessel humans had ever built, and the Council knew nothing about it. The ship was hidden inside a crater, invisible to passing ships. "Captain, we're receiving the final alert from Earth Command," said her first officer. "The ultimatum has been delivered and rejected. We're on standby for Phase 3. Maria nodded. "Prepare the ship. We launch in 6 hours." All around the lunar base, similar preparations were happening. 20 advanced warships, each powered by Dr. Wright's new engines, each protected by shields that grew stronger when attacked. Back on Earth, Susan Hart and Alan Wright stood in a vast underground chamber. Before them was a wall of screens showing different locations across Earth and its colonies. One screen showed Jack in the communication center. Another showed Commander Reeves on Defense Station Alpha. A third showed Captain Diaz on the Independence. "The Council doesn't understand what they've done," Alan said, watching the screens. "They think they're punishing disobedient children. They don't realize they've awakened a sleeping giant." Susan touched a control panel, and a new screen lit up. It showed a massive ship unlike any other human vessel. It was nearly complete, floating in a hidden construction bay beyond Neptune. "Project Exodus is ready," she said. "If we need to leave this part of the galaxy entirely, we can." Ellen looked impressed. "A generation ship. I didn't know we had the technology." "We do now." Susan's face was serious. "We've planned for every possibility. Fight, flee, or negotiate from strength. The choice will be theirs, but the future will be ours." On Nexus Station, Ben Collins and Jack Miller ran through the corridors. Alarms blared around them. The station's security forces, controlled by the Council, were searching for all humans. "The Lumari ship is waiting," Ben said as they turned a corner. "Ambassador Thalia says they're ready to leave as soon as we arrive." A group of Zeth security officers appear ahead, weapons drawn. Jack and Ben ducked into a side passage just as energy beams hit the wall where they had been standing. "The peaceful option is fading fast," Jack said grimly. He pulled out a small device and pressed a button. The localized energy pulse disabled the lights in the corridor, giving them a chance to move in darkness. In the council chamber, the remaining representatives argued loudly. The Zeth demanded immediate military action. The Lumari called for peaceful negotiations. The Dorjans suggested economic sanctions. Their debate was interrupted when all their communication devices activated at once. On every screen across the chamber, across Nexus Station, and on thousands of worlds throughout Council space, Jack Miller's face appeared. "People of the galaxy," he began, his voice calm and clear. "Humanity has heard the Council's ultimatum. We reject it completely. For too long, we have been treated as lesser beings, denied technology, restricted in our growth, and ignored when we offered help." Jack's eyes were steady as he delivered humanity's counter-ultimatum. "Earth will not be controlled. Earth will not be limited. Earth will not be silenced. We offer this choice to all Council worlds. Recognize human sovereignty and independence. Trade with us as equals, and benefit from the technologies we've developed in secret, or maintain your Council restrictions and lose access to everything humanity will create in the future." He paused, letting his words sink in. "You have 24 hours to decide." The 23 hours and 45 minutes of the ultimatum passed in tense silence. Then, 15 minutes before the deadline, 6 Zeth warships entered Earth's solar system through the main jump point near Neptune. "They're moving in attack formation," Commander Reeves reported from Defense Station Alpha. "Weapons hot. They're not here to talk." Susan Hart stood in Earth's Central Command Center, watching the large screen showing the approaching ships. "Where's the Independence?" "Still hidden behind the moon," an officer replied. "The Zeth can't detect it." Susan nodded. And our other ships? In position, General. All hidden with the new cloaking technology. On the screen, the Zeth ships moved steadily toward Earth. They were large vessels, covered in weapon ports. Their hulls were gray and shaped like arrowheads, designed to look threatening. "They're sending a message," Susan said to the room of officers. "All that firepower is meant to scare us into submission." A communication officer spoke up. "General, we're receiving a transmission from the Lid Zeth ship." "Put it on screen." The face of a Zeth commander appeared. His gray skin was marked with the red stripes of a high-ranking officer, and his 6 eyes blinked in the pattern that humans had learned meant confidence or arrogance. "This is Commander Vexcor of the Zeth Defense Force," he said in the formal tones of an official message. "By order of the Galactic Council, Earth is now under quarantine. No ships will enter or leave your system. Submit to Council authority or face consequences." Susan stepped forward. "This is General Susan Hart of Earth. Your ships have entered sovereign human space without permission. This is an act of war. Withdraw immediately." The Zeth commander made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You have no authority to make demands, human. The Council has ruled. Earth will submit or be destroyed." The screen went dark as the Zeth cut the connection. Susan turned to her communications officer. "Send the signal to Captain Dias. Tell her to show the Zeth what humans can really do." Behind the moon, Maria Dias received the message. "It's time, people. Take us out. Full power to the new engines." The Independence moved from its hiding place, its advanced drive glowing with energy no Council ship had ever seen. It accelerated at speeds that would have crushed the crew if not for Dr. Reich's gravity control technology. In seconds, the ship appeared between Earth and the approaching Zeth fleet. The Zeth commander's voice came through again, this time with less confidence. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself." "This is Captain Maria Dias of the Earth ship Independence. You are in violation of human space. This is your final warning to withdraw." There was a pause, then. "One ship cannot stand against 6 Zeth warships. Move aside or be destroyed." Maria smiled. "We're not alone." Around the Independence, space seemed to ripple and change as 20 human warships deactivated their cloaking devices. They appeared all around the Zeth ships, surrounding them completely. On Earth, Jack Miller had just returned from Nexus Station. He joined Susan in the command center, watching the confrontation unfold. "Did we get all our people off the station?" Susan asked him. "Yes, and not just humans." Jack looked tired but satisfied. 7 alien species have officially broken from the Council and requested alliance with Earth. Their ships are on the way here now. In space, the standoff continued. The Zeth ships had stopped moving forward, but hadn't retreated either. Then one of the smaller Zeth ships fired a single energy blast toward Earth. Before it could travel even 100 miles, the Independence moved into its path. The energy hit the ship's new shields and simply vanished. "Return fire," Maria ordered. "Target their weapons only. We're not killers." The Independence fired a precisely targeted beam that sliced through the weapon ports of the Zeth ship that had fired. The damage was surgical, disabling the ship's weapons without threatening its crew. The other Zeth ships began to power up their weapons. "So be it," Maria said quietly. "Let's show them what humans can do." The battle lasted 12 minutes. Not a single human died. The Zeth ships, for all their impressive weapons, couldn't penetrate the new human shields, and the human ships, with their precise targeting, disabled the Zeth vessels without killing their crews. When it was over, the 6 Zeth warships floated powerless, their engines and weapons cut off by the surgical strikes from the Independence and its sister ships. "Send rescue teams," Maria ordered from her captain's chair. "I want those Zeth crews safe and treated well." As human rescue ships approached the disabled Zeth vessels, a new alert sounded. "Captain, multiple ships coming through the jump point," reported her sensor officer. Maria tensed. "More Zeth." "No, ma'am. Different signatures. Lumari, Vex, Norabi. 7 different species. They're broadcasting on an open channel. The main screen showed a Lumari ship leading the others. Ambassador Thalia's face appeared. Captain Diaz, we come in peace and friendship. We have witnessed how humanity handled this conflict. You could have destroyed those ships, but you chose mercy. Other alien faces appeared on the screen, representatives of the 7 species that had broken from the Council to stand with humanity. The old Council is finished, said the Vex representative, his insect-like features clicking with emotion. A new age begins today. 3 weeks later, Jack Miller stood on the observation deck of the New Horizon, Earth's first diplomatic station. It orbited Earth at the same distance as the Moon, a symbol of humanity's new standing in the galaxy. Susan joined him, looking out at the stars and the ships moving between them. Ships from 15 different species now visited Earth freely, many seeking the new technologies humans had developed. The cooperative is growing, Susan said. 3 more species joined yesterday. Jack nodded. 22 worlds now, working together as equals. No more council oversight. No more technology restrictions. In the space outside, a Zeth civilian transport approached Earth. After the battle, the Zeth military government had fallen. Their new leaders had apologized to Earth and asked to join the cooperative. Did you ever think it would turn out this way? Susan asked, when you walked out of the council chamber that day. Jack smiled. I hoped, but I didn't know. A small ship approached the station, bearing the Earth flag and the new cooperative emblem. It carried Daniel Wolf, the pilot who had become famous throughout the galaxy for his daring rescue of Zeth civilians during the battle. During the fight, a Zeth ship's life support had failed. Daniel had flown his small shuttle into danger, docking with the damaged vessel to evacuate the crew before their air ran out. The images of a human risking his life to save former enemies had spread across thousands of worlds. Daniel's back from his goodwill tour, Susan noted. The Zeth made him an honorary citizen. Jack watched the ship dock. One human showing compassion did more for peace than all our weapons. Dr. Wright joined them on the observation deck, his face tired but happy. We've given the medical replicators to all cooperative worlds. The Dorsians say it will save millions of lives this year alone. Susan put her hand on his shoulder. You did good, Alan. Looking out at the busy space around Earth, with ships of all shapes and designs moving peacefully, Jack felt a sense of pride. Humanity had stood its ground, shown its strength, but also its mercy and wisdom. The Galactic Council watched as humans left, Jack said quietly. And now the galaxy watches as we lead. Susan smiled. Not bad for a young species. A message alert sounded on Jack's communicator. It was from a distant star system where humans had never been before. A new species, unknown to the old council, wanting to make contact. It seems our reputation is spreading, Jack said. Beyond the observation window, the stars stretched out endlessly, and among them, humanity had finally found its rightful place, not as servants or students, but as teachers and friends to a galaxy that was only now learning what humans had always known. True strength comes from cooperation, compassion, and the courage to stand alone when necessary.